What's going on, Internet? Nerdlocker.com here with this week's comic book reviews. I'm starting out with Batman number 24. This is sort of the end of the first arc of 0 Year, and it is phenomenal. I know it's like every time I review Batman, I'm like, it's so good, but it really is so good. Scott Snyder takes like just the classic mythos of Batman and puts his own personal spin on it, and this story ends in the most badass way imaginable. Like, that's all I can even say about it. The artwork is on point. Everything they do with Batman and his costume, they show his first costume, and it's really cool because it pays, like, you know, it's credit to the original, but kind of with the newer look to it. I can't say enough good things about this. This is so awesome. I can't wait to see what else is involved in 0 Year, because I thought this was like the perfect origin story, but obviously we have more to learn about Batman and what Bruce is doing to create him. Either way, love this book. 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Very well done.
Hey there guys, Cubby here with my reviews for this week, and I got to review Star Wars number 10. Man, I gotta say, I'll say this right now, and it's been like the last couple weeks, like all these comics have been getting like, whoa, more intense and more action-packed, and I think they're all kind of hitting these awesome story arcs. And this is one of them that's just insanely cool. The last issue it ended, and you met some really cool people, like some characters you like never even seen in the movies or anything, not even really hinted at. It was a cool dude that it looked like a Nazi, like it was like, obviously it's Imperial, but it was crazy, like what you find out about him and his interaction with Princess Leia, and it gets resolved, like it ends in this, and it's just really like emotional and heartfelt. And there's all this other stuff that's just like that in this one issue that really made me like it. Really stood out to me. And I love this book so much. 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. I will say that right now. But the story is getting really intense. So if you guys are reading it, let me know what you think of it, because I love this book and I want to talk about it with everyone.
So Walking Dead 115 comes out this week, which is the beginning of the all-out war. Of course, I was excited about this issue. There's been a big lead up to this, and of course you know that I have loved Negan this entire arc of Walking Dead right now. He's my new favorite villain. He's worse than everybody else, and that's exactly why I love him. But in issue 115, again, the beginning of All Out War, it's really the beginning of it, and not a lot happens. It's a lot of dialogue, and it kind of ends abruptly too. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer, but a lot of stuff does happen. It's just not action-wise. It's a lot of people, talking about the plan that's coming up, and then the plan is actually initiated. So you're going to want to read it because it's pivotal, but I'm only going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls, but it's still good. Check it out.
All right, I got to read Forever Evil, Arkham War, number 1. I was very excited for this book because it has to deal with all of Batman's villains and kind of what's been going on now that the Justice League is dead in Forever Evil. We have Bane taking over Blackgate, which if you've been reading some of the Villains Month one-shot issues, you kind of get a little backstory in some of the other ones about this. But it's basically going to be Arkham Asylum versus Blackgate. It's Bane basically coming back. Now that Batman is dead, the only guy to ever stop him from taking over Gotham, he's back to take Gotham back from all the crazy people. We have Penguin, who's sort of the new mayor and letting the Arkham inmates take different sectors of the city. And this first issue, Bane shows up and lays down the law and lets everyone know that he is back. He's going to take Gotham no matter what, and I feel like this is just going to be an awesome book. And with everything going on with Nightwing and Forever Evil, and now Arkham and Blackgate being just busted open in Gotham, I'm really excited to see what else is involved with Batman at the end of Forever Evil, like what this sets up for. I highly suggest picking this up. I'm giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, this is Haley, and I got to read Batgirl number 24 this week. I had a little bit of an issue with the way that they started off with this storyline about her having to leave her Batgirl identity, because it's supposed to be about her and her father, and we didn't get enough of that, and they're definitely getting to that in this issue. There's a lot of really sentimental, I don't know about sentimental, but just very exploring their relationships and very important moments about that. We really also see her feeling a lot of guilt over, this guy that she was casually seeing dying, and now she feels so responsible for it. And that also ties in a lot with her relationship with her father. So there's a huge climax at the end with a really great cliffhanger. I'm really excited about where this story is going to be going. So I definitely recommend this book. I'm going to give it 4.5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey there, nerds. Jim here. And first up, I have Death Sentence #1 from Titan Comics. I'll be honest, this was an okay book, but it got good at the end. It starts off with really a dark story. There's sex and there's drugs, and I really think that was only used as a crutch to try and get me to read more. And it's basically about a civilization, basically Earth, but in the future where a virus is affecting people, but the virus is deadly, but as you get the virus, you get superpowers that intensify and then you die. So that's kind of cool and also very bad. So that's the cool part, but I really felt that they used the crutch of the sex and drugs to make me want to read more, and I just felt that was getting in the way. Tell me more story. Don't use that stuff. But at the end, we start to see some superpowers revealed, and that's where I got interested. That's where I want to know more. So I'm only going to give this 2.5 Nerd Skulls, but I do want to check out issue 2 to find out if they sort of up the ante and they actually tell a good story here. So 2.5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, I got to read X-Men #6. This is chapter 7 of Battle of the Atom. If you've been following us, you know that I'm loving this story, and this continues. This is the way I think a crossover book should be done that goes through different titles, where the next issue picks up directly where the last one ended. It's not like, oh, hey, if you haven't been reading X-Men, you're not going to fully understand what's going on in this because you're trying to read Battle of the Atom. It picks up, it's one solid story. And we get to see the X-Men that came back, Professor Xavier, Kitty Pryde, and all them kind of get found out in a way. You still don't know what they're planning, but they are planning something, and now they realize they're about to get caught, and they're kind of in panic mode, just doing what they can to get this completed. Issue ends on a really cool, just a really cool note. You find out who one of the future X-Men are that you're kind of waiting to figure out. I thought it was a really cool reveal. But the story is awesome so far. I mean, Psylocke kicks ass in this. The whole book is just great. I give this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I got to read Superman, Wonder Woman, #1. And this is an issue and a title that I've been a little trepidatious about. I'll be honest. I liked Lois and Clark. Obviously, they're a great couple. They've been a mainstay of comics for years and years, and that's what I love about it. And the fact that they changed it up, I didn't like it at all. I mean, it was kind of cool because it's what should happen. It's the relationship that really should be happening in comic books. Maybe even like Wonder Woman and Batman would be a better one, but that's just like a whole another 10-minute video of us chatting away. Anyways, this story was kind of cool in terms of like, it's action-packed. It's kind of like a romantic comedy with them being like, oh my God, and talking about relationships with people and like seeing how people interact with stuff. That was cool. I dug it. I got it. It was like a movie. It was really cool. At one part, it even felt like an anime, which is kind of funny. But either way, it felt like you can just keep reading this book. Like I want to read it in the trade. That seems like it'd be a better way to read it. But it seemed like I knew what was going to happen. Like everything was like, oh yeah, of course they're going to do this, and of course this is happening, and of course this is happening. So I really hope that they change it up in later issues and it gets a little more exciting. Like a little more jaw-dropping, a little more, what? No way! I want it to be like a big, heavy contender book. But being that it's Forever Evil and all this other crap going on right now, I understand they can't really focus on anything because those guys aren't even around in the real DC universe. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. And I hope that it turns out to be a really good series. So let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Hey guys, another image first this week with Rocket Girl #1. Brandon Montclair does the writing. It's about a girl from the future, very futuristic, 2013, who goes back into the deep, deep past, 1986, to stop some event from happening. We will have to find out, but it may actually stop time travel from ever existing. It's a really good issue, #1. It really leads us in well, and I want to know what's going to happen next. And I want to say, first and foremost, that Amy Reeder doing the artwork is a big plus for me. The art really pops out for me, and I just want to read more of this. And Rocket Girl is my new favorite character out of Image, so you're going to want to check it out. That's why I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
So next up, I got to read Archer and Armstrong, number 14. I'm a huge fan of this book, but I'd lapsed a little. I hadn't read for a while, so I went back, caught up on it. Holy cow, a lot has happened. Thank goodness I did read it, because we're now out of the faraway. We have Archer really pissed off, rightly so, because Armstrong slept with his sort of stepsister, Mary Maria, and he was in love with her, so man, that's awkward. But he flips out. He's sort of time jumping. We don't know exactly where he is. We see Mary Maria back in the same, we think the same timeline, but we don't know. And we have no idea where Armstrong is. So that's kind of weird. The story actually focuses more on all the secret sex. And it's really interesting because they go back in Egypt and they basically tell where they started. But now there are so many offshoots and breakaways, and it's very interesting, and they are basically infighting. And man, this was really cool. I really, really recommend, if you're not on this bandwagon, jump on right now because they're starting a new storyline. Go back and read the first 13, actually 14 because there was a 0 issue, but I highly recommend it. 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls, Archer and Armstrong, number 14.
Hey fellow nerds, Jasper here, and I just got done reading Avengers A.I. issue 4. Sam Humphries does a compelling story as Vision realizes that there is no compromise with Demetrios, the rogue AI. The main focal point of the story is that Hank Pym and S.H.I.E.L.D. have to retrieve the Diamond Server. But as they do that, Demetrios has his own plan of attack. Andre Arajos does a terrific job and does a quirkiness and an action-packed with all the artwork that he does that makes you want to read it and just awe at the artwork, and it's just a terrific piece. With that said, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Definitely check it out.
All right, I got to read Abe Sapien number 6. I'm really enjoying this book because with everything going on in the BPRD universe, this gives a really different perspective of Abe and what he's going through with everything else going on, realizing that he may be more closely related to these problems than we previously thought. And it's cool too because you kind of get to see him just sort of discovering who he is. He makes reference to a lot of BPRD characters in this, and this whole issue he's kind of reflecting on his relationships and what he could have done differently with certain co-workers, I guess you would call them. Honestly, this is really cool. It's just a really different insight into that world, and that's what I'm loving about this the most, is that we're taking a step back of all the chaos, and we're getting to see just someone else's view on all of this. I'm giving this book 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I got to read Infinity number 4 this week, and what the F, Hickman. It was pretty awesome, I'll say that. It was pretty awesome considering what happened in the last issues, and I feel like John Lennon Hickman is just being like, hey, Brian Michael Bendis, you think you can write Ven books? Well, check this out, what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be awesome, maybe more awesome than you. And I mainly say that because there's a couple main characters that Bendis has been like grooming and making a certain person for the longest time, a whole cabal of people even, and Hickman's just doing whatever he wants to him. He just, yeah, here you go. And I love it. I love every second of it because it's a badass character, it's a badass story, he's doing badass things, and it ends in a, whoa, what's going on? And it's going to play into Inhumanity so well, you know who I'm talking about. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So check this out. That's not even the biggest thing that happens in this book. I don't even want to talk about the other stuff because it's going to spoil everything. So you need to read this. It's awesome. I can't wait for more. 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.